Hey guys, Billy here with Preacher's Creatures. In today's video, I thought I would go back to our MadMicas and introduce two more colors. We've got the blue Shocker and we've got the Floatation Device. And so we're going to experiment a little bit with those colors. And to make the video even more entertaining, even more exciting, I thought I would bring along one of my biggest fans. And so without any further delay, let me introduce you to one of the biggest fans on my channel. And so here it is, one of my biggest fans. Hope you enjoy the video. All right, guys, we're going to do another MadMicas video for our playlist. And I thought what we'd do is maybe see what these two colors would look like. The blue one is the blue Shocker, and then the green is Floatation Device. And I got some advice from a couple people that had watched my previous video, and they recommended, Adam from STG recommended to put the powder in before we microwaved our plastic. So put it in while it was cold. And so we're going to try that and see how that does and see if it does any better. I also want to give a thank you and a shout out to Mr. Crawford Rogers, who was so kind to send me some test molds that he made. And I thought those were neat, and I was thinking about maybe getting some test molds, and lo and behold, he contacted me and said he'd like to send me some. And so we appreciate that very much, Mr. Rogers. You sure have been a blessing, and we're praying for you, and thanks again for these beautiful test molds, and we're going to give them a try today. And so we'll just set those up there. But first, let's get to it. I think last time we started with 1/8 of a teaspoon to a 1/2 cup, and we got 2 cups here, a 1/2 cup of plastisol, and it seemed to be pretty saturated. So I think what I'll do today is, instead of start with 1/8, is I think I'm going to start with maybe a 1/16 and see what that gives us. The only problem is, I think let's see, the measuring spoons that I got came with 2 1/32. See, where am I here on camera? They came with 2 of these instead of a 1/16 and a 1/32. And so what I'm just going to do is simply just use 2 scoops of this, and that should give us what we're looking for. And so we're going to take the advice that Adam gave, and we're going to take this blue Shocker, and we're going to scoop us one of those in there. And let's do one more. That'll get us to 1/16. And so we'll set that over here. And then for our other color, we're going to use this Floatation Device, and we'll use our other scoop here. Let me get that out. Sorry, I put it back up. And do the orange, the Floatation Device. Okay. So that should be 1/16 of a teaspoon for both of those. And I'm not going to add any flake or anything until we get these heated up. But we do need to stir them in. And so let's get to that. I thought about getting one of those little frothers that they use to make coffee and just putting that down in there and hitting the button. And I thought, sure as I do, I'll be working with hot plastic and it'll send it flying out all over me. And that's all I need. So we'll stick to the old-fashioned way. Maybe one of these days I'll be able to get me a shooting star. That's the goal anyway. I mean, you still have to mix your color. Trying to mash up some of these little let's see, you can start seeing color there. You can see I still got a lot of these little, I'll call them pearls, that I need to break up. Okay, tell you what, let's let that sit a little bit and see if it don't absorb a little bit. I know, for example, when you're making pancakes, they say to stir it up and then let it sit for a little bit. And the lumps that are in there will absorb the liquid and it'll smooth out the lumps. So kind of makes you wonder if it won't do the same thing with this, but we shall see, won't we? Adam said you still had to stir it pretty good. But it seemed to help. Nothing else, you don't have to worry about the temperature. It getting cold on you. That is a beautiful orange sherbet color. Kind of takes you back to your childhood. So let's see what we got. We'll pop these in the microwave, and even though it seems like we still got some a little bit of those pearls, we'll heat them up and see what happens. Looks like we got things heated up enough. Seems that way anyhow. Yeah, we got it up over 350. Still trying. Looks like a lot of that, those little pearls might have busted up. All right, so, oops, sorry, didn't mean to bump you there. So what do we want to do? What do we want to look at here? Let's see. Let me just pour a little sample here. Let that cool off, and then pour us a little bit of orange. Just so you know, this is technically my first open pour. All right, there we go. Got us a little stringer. We'll put that back in there. We're going to let these cool off, and then we'll take a look at them. In the meantime, let's set these up here. And I'm going to pop these back in the microwave for just a little bit, because especially this orange was not up to the same temperature as the blue. So I'm going to pop it in there, but I'm going to leave that orange in just a little bit longer. So let's do that. All right, let's take a look at our test molds here and see. We'll start with our blue, and as you can see, it's pretty saturated, fairly saturated all the way through. So let's look at our orange here. Same thing. I think we got plenty of color in there, and so that'll save us a little bit. Well, let's put this, see what kind of laminate that's going to make. I think that'll make a nice color bake. So, do we or do we not flake? I think we flake. But how do we flake? That is the question. I think with this orange, I'm not sure yet. I think I want to pop it back in the microwave a little bit more. Try not to run these videos crazy amount of time. It just seems like they so it blues up to about 360 something. I hit 360 at one time. So I'll tell you what, let's try this MadMicas Nina Simone Sparkles and see what that does. Let's take a good, since it's smaller, it'll probably go further. And let's put 1/8 of a teaspoon. Let's just put 1/8 of a teaspoon in both of them and see what happens. That is fine. That is very fine. I like it. Because it's when it's fine like that, it almost has like a gritty texture. But you know, in my mind, I'm thinking about, a lot of times I'm thinking about crappie baits, and a lot of those small bait fish got those very small scales. I'm gonna have to heat that up some more. That orange is cooling off quick. I think I've told you this in a past video. Seems like one of these cups, and apparently it's this one with the orange, doesn't want to, one heats up faster than the other, and I don't know if it's just a different production run, a little bit thicker glass in one or the other, I don't know, but it is what it is, and we roll with it. All right, so we got our stuff back up to, and we've added this Nina Simone sparkles, but I think we need to spruce it up. I don't want to go with a whole lot different. I like that silver sparkle, but to add a little bit more depth, I think we're going to go with some of this Dead On Flake Disco, and we're going to add 1/8 of a teaspoon of it in both of these, just to add a little bit more texture, as they like to say. Didn't do a whole lot. That'll kind of help fill in the gaps there. The little flake will fill in the gap of the bigger flake. Let's see, let's get a temperature. I think something's going on with my thermometer. Ever since I changed the batteries in it, it doesn't seem to want to give me an accurate temperature reading. All right, so the orange is giving me 300, if that's correct. So we need to pop it back in the microwave. The blue is giving me 315 thereabouts. And so we're going to, since we're shooting cold molds again, I'm going to get them up a little bit higher in temperature. And higher than normal. All right, guys, I'm shooting this cold, so I'm going to have the temperature up just a little bit. Hopefully it won't mess things up too much. But you never know. Sometimes they blend a little bit more when you got it hot, but at the same time, I want my molds to fill out. So let's go over here to this whip wad and go ahead and shoot it hot, since it's got that longer tail. And let's do the 2-inch stonefly. And let's see here. Let's do this. If we got enough. Hopefully we do. It seemed to me, just by looking at the end, there's just a touch of blending. And so it's kind of making that blue just a little bit lighter. But that's all fun, part of the fun, isn't it? So we're going to let this cool down, and then we'll see what we got. And hopefully we'll like it. Yeah, you can see right here where a little bit of it blended, I guess, and it's almost like a green, but we won't know until we get things squared away, and we'll be right back and show you what we got. All right, guys, so let's check out the blending block first. Open that up. You can see there that blue shocker and the flotation device. Of course, we added some flake to it. We added some of the fine Nina Simone sparkles that we got from MadMicas, as well as our disco flake from Dead On Plastics. Here's the sprue where it joins together, and I'm trying to think of what color it is that I can't remember if it's one of the crawl colors. I can't remember if it's maybe Okeechobee or Alabama crawl or something like that. That you guys can comment in the comments below. Remind me of what color combination is close to that. I'm not saying it's perfect, but anyhow, I remember doing a color for somebody in the past, and they requested that color. So here we go. Here is the 2-inch stonefly from Epic Baits, and we're going to crack that puppy open. All right. So it does have a greenish tint to it, and of course, you know, if you remember, I'm trying to remember the commercial. Yellow and blue make green, but the cousin of yellow, I guess, is orange, and blue try to make green. It's got a green tint to it, but it's not completely sold out, but it's not completely the blue that it was either. But that makes for an interesting color. I'm going to have to shoot something with just that blue so we can see how it looks in the bait. But I'm loving that 2-inch stonefly larva mold that I got from Epic Baits, and excited about being able to fish that. And then it's going down the line. We did not shoot the crappie crusher. Why did I get that out? I guess I needed to clean all that junk off of it. So I won't bore you with that. We'll put that back in there the way it's supposed to go. What did we shoot? We shot this one here, the 2-inch caddisfly larva. And so let's see how that one turned out. Yeah, it did a lot like the stonefly. This is a uniform bait, so it don't have a top and bottom, but so you can shoot it either way. It's going to come out the same, but it turned out pretty good. One thing I've noticed with the last MadMicas video we did, and with this one, is you don't pick up the sparkle in those flakes like you do. Normally the disco flake from Dead On Plastics, it is a crazy sparkly color. And I think that has to do a lot with the saturation that's in these mica powders. But the colors in the mica powders are just fantastic. I mean, very brilliant. All right, so here we go. We got the 1.7 inch Epic Whip Wad. And so let's see what we got here. Look at those beautiful little things. Oh, those are nice. Those are nice. Laminated well. Some of them, it's almost, you can't really see. It laminated well, but we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 tails on each side that didn't fill out all the way. So I've got to figure out, I think I'm just going to have to quit treating this mold like I do the others. I can shoot the others cold as long as I heat up the plastisol a little bit more. But I think with these, I'm just going to have to get me a warmer and warm this mold up, because I don't think it shoots very well when it's cold. And that's just one of them things that you know, but you ignore from time to time, and you pay the price. But we did get 4 nice ones. And the main thing I'm looking at is this lamination, even on the ones that the tails didn't fill out all the way. And what I have noticed about the way this bait laminates, it blends. It laminates, but it also kind of just blends it so that it's not so much just a straight line. And I really like it. It's something that I haven't really seen in my other baits. But anyhow, there it is. I really like the way it didn't come out just cut and dry blue and orange. It kind of shaded it a little bit on the green side. But I like it. I'm glad I got those MadMicas powders. And if you're interested, and you go check them out. And they got a ton of different colors to choose from. So let's see if we can make some goldfish. Uh-oh. Got us a glob on there. All right, here we go. I'm going to try holding pressure on these whip wads a little bit more. I'm afraid to put too much. I may have to adjust my air vise. It might be off on one side. But we'll find out. But might make us some orange whip wads. See how that does. But I do believe that's probably what I'm dealing with, because it seems to be only on one side. It's always on this side, so this might be a little bit loose. We'll figure that out here in a little bit. All right, guys, let's see if we got us some goldfish and some blue bugs. All right. I shot these just to give us an idea of what the blue looks like by itself. And this one fills out real good. Got them long tails. And pretty solid color. And it's not as transparent as I thought it was going to be, at least not in the thicker parts. And I'll be honest with you guys, I think after shooting the last video where I used 1/8, and it wasn't very transparent. And I think that's what cut the shine out on the 8-bit baits. What was it I shot? The Beskar. And you couldn't really see all that holographic shine. And I think what it boils down to is just this is very saturated and opaque, even though it's neon, and it doesn't let a lot of light shine through. And so you're not going to get as much of that that flash, that holographic look. But that's a beautiful color, and it's certainly going to have its place in my color palette. And so now let's look at the Epic Whip Epic Whip Wad. I'm so glad that I don't have to say that 10 times fast, or 5 times fast. So let's check these beauties out. Yeah, we got us some goldfish. They may not be as detailed as that laminated goldfish color that I made. If you hadn't seen that video, go check it out. That's a pretty neat video. And that was a subscriber recommended color, and we had fun with that. But yes, sir, that's pretty. That's definitely got a neon to it, and I think that would do in a pinch if you wanted a quick goldfish looking color. Again, it's not really showing a lot of that flash and the glitter, but now we know, don't we? I wonder about maybe doing a contrast color, you know, like a darker glitter, just to change it up instead of trying to get that disco to show through. This one here, I mean, it's shining pretty good right there, but I think it's because it's close to the surface. But that is a beautiful bait, and that's a beautiful color. And we'll continue on. What color are we going to show next? Are we going to show the tennis ball breaker, the grape ape, the cheesy poof, the brazen huzzy, or the always a bridesmaid? You never can tell. But one thing is for sure, you'll love the features of Preacher's Creatures.